And we're live. What's up? It's me, Ian. I know, it's me, EJ.
Hey, nice. I'll be EJ today. Um,
And we got our guest Colin, who's joining us for all the fun. He hopefully he remembers his own name. Thank you for joining us.
Colin. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me in.
Of course.
yeah.
Uh, so yeah,
So, yeah.
do you want to get right into it?
Let's
I
get
mean,
into it.
I think it's clear, we need a break from everything that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been doing a
So,
lot of stream. Like the last few streams have been about like very serious data sets and topics. Ian's been working on the California wildfires. We were sort of working on COVID data. I'm currently on vacation this month for the month of August. So this is a vacation stream. So I said, can we not do
Yeah.
any data viz related to death this time?
I think this is like doubly fun because the format's really conducive to just rediscovering just for the joy of it programming, right?
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
just playing with stuff. I'm playing right now with all the Magic the Gathering data sets. My son really likes it, and we play. And there's MTG JSON. You can pull it up if you want on the stream.
Interesting.
I'm building a statistics. I'm building an elementary statistics course around like all of the like blocks. So you take all of the cards, how much they cost to cast, right? How much power do they have? How much, and like what's the distribution of those things? So we're looking at some like summary statistics on these data sets, and then we're looking at you go to like all you can go to all sets, and then all sets will get you to this is a that you can find like the core set 2021, and then that JSON will be all the card names, all their translations. Yeah, that's the data set we're working with.
Interesting. This is really cool.
Pulling it.
Are you able?
I want to do
don't
this
know
as
much about
observable.
Magic the Gathering, but is there a way to see like you have sets and decks? Is there any way to like see a game play out? Like, are there JSON versions of that?
It's a great question. Like, you mean like in chess format, like standard format for?
I play this. Again, I don't know Magic the Gathering very well, so I'm just assuming like I play this card and they play that card, or like even metadata of like.
I've never seen that, but I bet you it exists. I mean, someone has to have done that for the competitions. There are big money tournaments around it that for the top players that happen every year, championships and stuff. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Yes.
My goal is to do this in observable, but I haven't used it before, so I'm completely new to observable, like hello world level. So
Cool. Well, that's awesome. So
Nice.
that's a great. So that's actually a good place to start because we were in the goals of not doing any heavy data viz. I sort of found this video that you said you had already seen, which is it's got 1 million views, so that makes sense. It's by this guy Numberphile, who I had never heard of, who just sort of like he like talks about all the weird patterns that can come from, I guess, random noise. I'm probably not explaining this well because this is not my area of expertise. I was just like, wow, that looks really cool, And it also reminded me of a lot of the things that we used to do with the early versions of Tributary in regards to like making cool, weird visuals with circles and sine waves and stuff like that. So I just wanted to like maybe if you guys are down, just sort of watch through this video a little bit, and then he goes through a few different steps where he'll say, okay, what if I go in and rotate it? You sort of get this effect, and if I rotate it more, you see this, and sort of trying to
that's
capture
right.
each of those different steps as I don't know, as cells, or just trying to like pay tribute to his video in Observable, because I think that once we get sort of the basics of it going, that there's a bunch of really cool, different, interesting visual directions that it could take. But it's also, I think it's just like, for me, and back to what you were saying about like doing a hello world and Observable, this seems to me like the perfect way to like start getting things rolling, and especially because he does a bunch of different things. Potentially, me and Ian can jump in and take in 2 different steps or whatever it might be. So I just want to like play through the video and then maybe mark down some timestamps of when he does different things, and then we can sort of go back and watch together and be like, all right, let's pull out this piece. So
Awesome.
On the stream, I'm gonna make my screen full screen for a second, just so you can see it, and then I'm gonna open up text edit so I can make a list of timestamps of when things happen. So,
Also, I just want to shout out to RJ, Info We Trust.
oh yeah, shout outs.
He's in the chat and joining us. So.
All right.
All right, so I don't think that we're gonna get the audio of the video playing through. Yeah, I don't think the audio of the video is going through, but basically he's saying that he has a paper with random noise printed on it, and then on top of it he's placed a transparent overlay, and he's sort of rotating that transparent overlay of the same exact visual at different degrees, or sort of translating it at different degrees, and it has lots of different effects. And so he's explaining that as you rotate them, you sort of get these circular, concentric circles that come out of it.
Mm-hmm. Was that predictable? Is it predictable in a sense that if you rotated it 90 degrees, or if you rotated it 35 degrees, is it at all deterministic or not at all? Deterministic or not at all?
So he doesn't really talk about that with the circles. Later in the video, when he does the triangles, it seems like it is more deterministic.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the random noise, it's more of our vision creating concentric circles where there aren't any.
Huh.
But I don't totally understand where the circles come from, whether they come from the universe or...
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting lots of...
Well...
A second.
So one thing I'll point out from the video is that like the transformation that you're doing, you're rotating about a center. Like he talks about how you can move that around. And so that's sort of predictable, like where the center of it is based on the rotation.
This thing that he's doing, I guess it's at 202. He just moves it back and forth, and he shows that the circle moves left to right as you move the transparency up and down. So the circle that you see changes, and then he sort of explains it with a knife, but maybe that's another part that I can pull out. So I'll say 202. We'll say translate back and forth.
Yeah.
And there was actually one before that, right? There was this is where he just does like a simple rotation. So I'll say 130 is like just a simple rotation.
Yeah, so at 202, he is able to move the dot where he wants. He's able to move the center where he wants it to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because when he first does it, he puts it down, and then it seems like he doesn't like where the center of the circle is for his explanation, and he sort of moves it over.
Right.
All right, so we have one at 202, and then so this is him explaining sort of why it moves left to right, and that when you move the knife up and down, the portion of it that is shown in the overlap actually moves side to side. Math is complicated.
Yeah. But in some sense, this is maybe not at all surprising that there would be patterns, since they are the same. It's like it's random, but the relationships between them are very much not random because they're identical.
Exactly.
So each dot is a relationship with itself in the lower on the piece of paper that's not clear.
Yeah, and then your brain, I guess, sort of forms the linkages between those two things, which you then turn into, oh, that's a thing that turned, right? Like in the example he's showing, he's just sort of rotating it ever so slightly, but it looks like, it looks like star trails, or you know what I mean, when you see a time lapse of the sky or whatever, right? Like that's the thing that it makes me think.
Right.
Of. So I'm gonna say, where are we at now? 329. He does like an offset rotation. Is the right way to call this, or to describe what's happening?
I think.
Go ahead.
Doesn't he scale it?
Oh yeah, you're right. He scales it down. It's scaled. He said it's scaled to 96% or something like that. That's exactly right. So when
What
it's
was the
scaled,
time?
you
'Cause
get
I'm
these
in-
sort of spirals out it. 329 is what I put down.
All right, because I realized I can embed at that time, and
Oh yeah,
so
nice. And then get an image.
Oh,
yeah.
awesome.
But yeah, I mean, right now it all has the same thumbnail. You have to like actually start playing, but we'll figure that out. But yeah,
So
it makes it.
newbie question for me on observable. Is it a markdown cell like it is in Jupyter, where the entire cell is markdown, or is it a markdown prefix of a line, and then the rest of it is assumed to be HTML, or would it be assumed to when is it assumed to be JS, when is it assumed to be HTML?
Right. So basically, it's always JS, and it
Okay.
is. Sorry, let me turn off my notifications. It's always JS, but you can return DOM elements, and if you return a DOM element, it will render that for
see.
you. And so
I think I missed the tick. So there's a tick after MD, and that whole thing's inside of the tick.
this is all yeah. So this is basically passing a string into a function. The
Okay.
MD is like a provided function, and there's also an HTML function that if I just do like, I don't know, this will be like that rendered, right?
I see. Okay.
But yeah, at the end of the day, every cell return it is like running JavaScript and returns some value, and it could be observable treats that value a little bit differently depending on what you want.
Mm-hmm. And then hides the code, right, by default when you run it?
No, by default, the code stays open. It's pin.
I see.
But whenever I'm writing like sort of documentation cells, I usually unpin them to like hide
I see.
the text. But like when we get to, if we were to write some JavaScript, like, I mean, I'll tend to leave it open because like a lot of the point of the notebook is to follow along what's happening.
I don't think that you get the thumbnail from the YouTube video when you put the time in. I think it just makes it be where it starts, which is annoying.
Yeah, I think there's probably some options to like autoplay and have it play muted. I've seen that with like the Twitch stream embeds. And I feel like if we figured that out, it would be, you would immediately be presented with the thing you want to see.
Yeah. Do you want me to? I could just to rough it out to start. Do you want me to just like take screenshots for all those timestamps and drop them as like file attachments?
Yeah. If you do that.
And then I sort of
should be quick
I
and
took the
helpful.
liberty of making us a little to-do list, and this is my understanding of it. But correct me if I'm wrong at any point. But my thinking was basically that step 1 is make some random noise. Step 2 is to duplicate it into 2 layers. Step 3 is to translate it. And step 4 is to rotate it, and then we can get into the triangle stuff. But I think once we get the main conceit of having 2 layers and rotating the second one, that's going to be what we do in lots of different ways, and like with lots of different patterns and scales for the rest of the night. Basically, that's like what he does across the video. Does that make sense?
I like it. Yeah.
So back to the observable hello world and the questions you were asking before, Colin, and it's actually a question I have. Even though we've done it before, how do I make a canvas again? Do I view of a canvas? Do I view of a canvas and put a bunch of JavaScript in it?
Well, it comes back. So let's say we want to make, we want to draw something. I mean, you can call it canvas, but it doesn't really matter. So we're going to put in a code block, and then you essentially you want to create a canvas DOM element or something, and then you get a reference to that, and you do stuff to it.
Right.
Here, we can do that by basically saying, make the HTML and just write out canvas like this. Like that would make a canvas that's like default width and height. There's also, I think, some We can use D3 create a canvas. I
What?
think this would be fine though, because really, if you do, well, let's come up with a height real quick that we want to use for most of our visualizations. I'll keep it somewhat small so we can see it for now. You want a context, or I like to abbreviate to CTX because it's less typing. Get a context, and then we can start drawing stuff, right?
But you were jumping all around. It was going crazy. All right, and we're back. Whoa! Now you have a box going. That was quick. So you've got one rectangle drawing, which is a great start and a great sign.
Let me do something. It's all right. It seems fine now.
Can you clarify this? Can you clarify the syntax here? So canvas equals,
Sure.
and then it's like it looks like object notation. It's function.
Great question.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this, Ian?
So basically, this is because every cell you don't have to name the cell, but like every cell needs to return some values running JavaScript. So this lets you write multiple lines of JavaScript inside it.
I see.
And then we can call it canvas.
Putting it in braces is kind of like you would do in JSX, where you say this is a bunch of code in same idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does remind me of JSX, and not in a good way.
Because I think that what's confusing for me here in this is that you have canvas equals, and then you're returning canvas, and then I had to double take and realize that you were not returning the exterior canvas. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I shouldn't have named the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here to ask simple questions.
Yeah,
This is great.
It's good. Yeah, because anyone else who hasn't played with it yet, this will be informative. So yeah, so we got ourselves a little square.
Can we use my favorite library for randomness?
Yeah, let's do it.
It makes everything so easy.
All right, show us.
Shoutouts Chance.js. No, we used it the other day. It's got oh no, now I have to use that module thing to remember. I'm just gonna go to the old notebook where we used it and pull it out from there.
That's smart.
But Chance, so I guess we just want to do a floating. We want to choose a random point for as many points as we want between the width, with an x between the 0 and width, and y between the 0 and height, right?
Yeah.
Where did we use it last time? Oh, in our pattern grid thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and we went through a whole bunch of
patterns.
weirdness with where we initialized it and shit like that. Do you remember that?
I do, but I think the way that notebook ended up is fine. Like it.
I agree. I just
yeah,
don't remember
put this
exactly what we
back in
did.
the chat.
So I just put chance in there. And then do we have to initialize chance in the beginning of the chart is what we figured out? Yeah, we have to let chance equal new chance. And then I'll give it a seed so that it is determinate.
Can you
deterministic.
put the notebook where we used it before?
Oh yeah, give me un segundo. So I'm
the
dropping
chat.
in the chat the moire grid patterns, which is actually pretty similar to what we're doing tonight, but a kind of different, more abstract new wave vibe, overlaying grids of lines and circles based on random data generated by Chance.js, which I love. It makes cool art like these half moons. So where was I? Oh, so do you want me to make a new chance in chart? Like, because we're going to have a seed, basically. So I'll make a seed at the top, or I'll make a seed at the bottom.
Let's see. We did it. Yeah, we created new chances every time we called the function, right? In this other.
Yep. So I'll do that here. If I can remember what it was.
The patterns.
Here we go.
Chance.
Yeah, we'll do it like this. Killing it, and then I'm using a completely different keyboard than I normally use, so this is like extra fun hard mode for me. We're gonna do X is chance dot floating. I'm gonna change to my screen. Chance dot floating with a min of 0 and a max of width. Oh, but it's gotta be in its own object. And then we'll do the same for Y. So, except the Y is gonna be max's height. Oh, I'm editing the chart cell, by the way. Don't ruin my life.
Oh no, I'm waiting.
Thanks.
I am going to suggest that we pull that stuff into a
I
data
know, you
cell
love doing that.
after you do.
Yeah, you do whatever you
I
want
do.
after I get this shit running. Alright, so it's
All right.
putting it in the corner because it's enormous. So you wanna
Meanwhile-
make a blocks object that just has a bunch of things and then make a make blocks thing? D36? Release
Yeah,
candidate 3.
I'm gonna put that in there.
What is
It's very close to being done.
kind of bleeding edge shit
Yeah.
is this?
Yeah. D3 V6 gonna come out like really soon.
It's mostly the grouping stuff, right?
Yeah, there's not there's not a ton of breaking changes. It's just mostly additions.
Yeah, you keep saying that, but they
and-
removed D3 nest, Ian.
Yeah, well, trust me, life is better with group.
I would
I've
describe that
made the
as a
switch.
breaking change.
It is, but I mean, it's replaced by some stuff that's, I think.
Yeah,
in
but
the end
it's
better.
also like that time when I had to change all my dots into capital letters, like, because that's the new cool way to do things. Anyway, I'm just
Yeah.
being cranky.
Yeah.
So I got chance going. I got random X and Y position. You're gonna make another cell where you make a data representation of our random dots and then draw it and make the data separately, basically, is what you're saying?
Yeah, so I want to do something like
Something like what, Ian?
sorry, I'm gonna write this and then talk about it. So I'm making 1,000 dots. I want for every dot I want to have an X and a Y. You're saying, right?
Yeah, like I did right
And
up
I'm
there.
gonna borrow borrow your chance lines of code, basically. Paste them here. And which thing dots? Okay. So I'm going to
Yeah, no, you
instead of
want to
drawing-
4 over all the dots and then draw them like that in the canvas.
yes.
Sick.
Instead
For
of
each. I never
drawing-
know how to iterate over them. Like sometimes we map, sometimes we for each, sometimes we Lodash for each. How does one choose, Ian? How are we deciding to
I
use
mean,
this tonight?
you know, a lot of these things are what you're used to, I think, right?
All right. But we're
But
for eaching because it's an array and we can.
yeah, the map is nice for creating, like, because every element you return from a map gets added to a new array. So it's like basically I have an array and I want to create a new one based on everything in it.
Got it.
But if you're not creating a new array, then you can just for each and go through the array. And you could also do a for loop for blah blah blah. You know.
Oh, right. For I equals 0, I less than dots dot length or whatever, right?
All that good stuff, yeah. So I'm just gonna cheat and draw like little squares instead of doing
That's not
the
cheating at all.
circle one.
Yeah, with circles as we. Oh, look.
I mean, that
Nice.
kind of, you know, it looks like we might want some more, but
That looks right. Well, how come I
Rick
still have? Oh, it's
stuff.
because. Hold on, I'm gonna take this. Oh, you already did it. I'm sorry. Great.
all good. So maybe we want some more, right? Like,
Do we want? Yeah. Well, let me pull up his starting example. Yeah, and his squares are pretty big too. Actually, like you can make them 2x2s probably.
oh, they are 2x2s. 3x3.
Yeah.
Much better. I mean,
These were,
that'll
these were
obviously be,
rectangles, right? Not circles.
that's right. I do
Yeah.
little tiny red.
His are
Yeah.
thick with 2 C's. That looks right. They look similar.
So, I mean, we can pretty quickly get this going. I think I can
Well-
just make it. So if I,
You seem excited, but now I'm wondering, how do you take a canvas and overlay the same canvas on top of that canvas? We heard you like canvases.
well, I don't. The way I want to do it is I just want to rotate rotate what it's going to draw and draw the
so you're
points
gonna
again.
rotate the data
Just gonna-
and not the canvas? You're saying?
No, I'm gonna rotate the
Okay.
canvas, but like the way canvas works is like you're drawing stuff, and then
Oh,
if you
right. You
change,
can change the
the
global
rotator to
scale,
translate.
right? Or
Yeah.
the global rotator.
On the element, on the element.
No, on the context. If I rotate, and I can't remember, we'll see if
It's like you're rotating pen
degrees
world.
or
Because
radians.
it makes your X's and Y's all then... oh, yeah, you think you did it, buddy.
Oh,
That's too much, though.
yeah. It looks like the center is in the upper left. Maybe is that why that's happening?
It might be. I'm not sure if this has this API. I don't
Hold on,
think so.
can I edit for un segundo?
Can you
I
can you
read
translate?
everything.
Yeah, there you go.
Wait, what are you?
You're gonna
just
translate
wanna-
height divided by 2 or something, right?
Sorry.
That
Do whatever you
is-
want now. I'm trying to make it them have different colors so we can exist in a world.
I just want to see if you do that where the point actually ends up.
we want.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Thanks, buddy.
Right. So I don't rotate. It's just moving it to the middle.
There you go.
I kind of want to move it back, rotate it, and then put it back again. Sorry. Does that make
What do you
sense?
mean? No, what?
So if I move it so that if the blue points are moved backwards, like up and to the left, and then I rotate it,
Oh,
and then I put them back.
you gotta
So
translate, rotate, translate? Or
yeah, that totally did not do what I wanted it to do.
where did our blue guys go?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, there
Let's
they are.
see. So, well, yeah, I commented out the stuff I was doing.
What were you doing? You rotated it and translated it back, basically?
Yeah, I want to see canvas rotate. There's supposed to be.
There's like an anchor, too, right? Like you can tell it where to translate from.
That's what I'm looking for. But it doesn't. Yeah, rotate it. Translate moves in music. So they're saying what I was trying to do, but it didn't seem to. Oh no, it is supposed to be in radians. That's probably why it's going.
Fucking canvas. See, this is why we should use P5 for everything. Because who made this technology where you have to put in radians for the fucking circles, man? And all the translates? Who made this?
What,
Yeah.
what did you want to use instead?
P5.
Oh,
P5 is
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
It's like made for sane people.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you use P5, it makes whatever we're doing right now make sense.
Does P5 operates on Canvas?
Yeah, pretty much.
I haven't used that library. I know, obviously, I know what process it is.
The only reason that I've used it, and I use it for more now, I was like, it has dot circle, which you give an X and a Y and a radius. And that's like what I need in my life. Whereas in Canvas, you have to like do, you know what I mean? You have to do math.pi times 2 or whatever.
Right. Well, SVG feels more like that, right? I mean,
Yes.
how much does P5 mirror the SVG API?
It's just for Canvas. Like I would, if I could do it, and normally when I'm doing that, I'm drawing 10,000 circles, so I don't necessarily want to do that
Right.
in SVG.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Oh, I was just curious how much P5 was replicating, what was trying to replicate SVG.
I think it's not so much replicating SVG as like nice helpful wrappers around it. That's more declarative.
Around
Like it's
canvas.
more, it's less select all enter modify thinking, and more like I'm a pen and I'm doing something at every line. You know what I mean? I'm turning the pen red, or I'm rotating the pen, or whatever it is, which is kind of more, for me, like when I'm in artistic mood, that's more how I think. Or more like back to what you were talking about, like explaining it to other people. That's kind of more how other people's brains think.
Right.
It's like, oh, what if it was red for those, or what?
That looks like
you
a
know what I mean?
circle. I'm just
Yeah, oh,
gonna
yeah.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. That looks like a circle.
That's looking good.
I think it worked. So I
Yeah,
did
I
it in
think
the
that
wrong
worked.
order.
So it's
Right,
weird doing the two
I'm gonna-
colors. We've already innovated a little. We should get rid of this blue, huh?
Yeah, I guess we can comment that out for a second.
You guess.
Oh yeah. How did you end up with? Okay, so was it in the center? How did you end up rotating it around the center? Can you just back up for that? And
Yeah. So
Just walk
I
us through.
basically I moved it to the center first
Okay.
because the angle of rotation's from the top left. So I like moved it and then rotate it and then move it back by however much I moved it the
Okay.
first time.
What's 15 times radians?
mhm. That basically means degrees. So that's 0 to 360. I basically converted
So you're saying 15 degrees right now?
because I want to say like angle equals 15 and let
Word.
you choose an angle with slider or
Speaking
something,
of
right?
which, teach us again how to make a slider, because I
Okay.
Yeah, because like
new to me,
this is
too.
gonna be fun.
All right.
Yeah,
this is the
so,
perfect time for a slider.
I mean, this is the perfect time for a slider.
Observable.
There's even-
It was built for this moment, really.
Yeah. So there's inputs that we can use, but I think I'm actually gonna skip that in a sec. I'll bring it up and call it out because this is definitely like the first thing I would usually do. But there's some others that might be fun for us to play with. But slider, you basically import this and then you call it like and you can give it some parameters, min and max and all that good stuff.
Little video for observable with this. Like, let's say that you've got like 2 layers of random noise.
Yeah. we've just, or it's like a video of people bungling it. Like, you ever have 2 layers of random noise? You just can't put them together.
That's you've already 10x'd it, so that's you ever-
Oh man! Oh no! I spilled my random noise.
Yeah.
I just can't, and I gotta change the variable, one at a time.
Right. Oh, I deleted
But you also
everything.
share it, but you also need to share the noise quickly, and you also want to share the noise. You want collaborative noise editing.
Share the noise is just a good like slogan.
Share the random noise.
Share the noise. So what are you doing now, Ian? What the fuck have you done? What is this?
So this is like a slider that
It's just auto. Whoa!
animates.
Holy shit, bro!
Okay, it's taking big steps here.
This is some real boss stock shit you got rolling. Angle equals scrubber, which is D3 range of 360. And how does it autoplay?
Well, basically, that's what the scrubber does, and it is literally some real boss stock shit. So
Got it.
it's, I mean, yeah. If you actually want to know how it works, it's implemented. Like
It's an
this huge
observable
chunk of
thing.
code.
So like you pulled in scrubber from our good friend Mike. That's what we're looking at.
Right. Yeah. So this cell is named scrubber. So I'm
Got it.
importing that.
So literally
here.
boss stock magic.
Like, yeah.
Got it.
But it's really, it's pretty fun. So we can give it options, I think, to slow it down, like with a delay, I think. Let's
Dude,
try
it's
that.
so cool. Whoa.
Oh, nailed it! Where that was,
Whoa.
go back.
Yeah, it looks like the first.
Yeah, because that's the when they're in the closest relationship, right? Because after that, then the point is too far away from its self point.
Are degrees, so maybe those canvas idiots were right. Degrees is too much.
So this is exactly what you'd expect to see in a Starfield, in a like the position like 1, right, is exactly what you would see in a long exposure of like a Starfield.
Exactly.
That right, yeah, yeah.
What do you call it? It's like night. It's like night
Yeah.
star photography, right?
Can you pull it? Can we Google that and then have it tell us what the right?
That's
what
what.
the
Oh
right
yeah. So I did a. I don't know what it's called. Everybody calls them time lapse star trails.
time lapse star trails. Yeah.
Oh,
Like long
yeah.
exposure.
Yeah, long exposure. Yeah, these are crazy.
GPT-3 is actually incredibly good at summary like that. It can tell you what you mean if you throw random words at like, and if you fed it what we just talked about, and you said, and you fed it pen the words like like they were talking about but couldn't find the words for space. It will say long exposure, Starfield photography,
That's awesome.
like nighttime photography, like long exposure nighttime photography. It'll like it knows exactly. All you have to do is prompt it with like the last little bit of like these guys didn't know they were talking about.
That's so interesting. I've always thought that like the new era of AI, like there's going to be a whole world of like Cesar Milans of like, oh, your AI is acting weird. Like that's because you need to talk to it in this weird way. And like what you just described, like it makes me think of like, oh yeah, you just have to like allude to like, and they couldn't find it, you know?
Yeah, and they couldn't. I actually for Polis, we one of the tasks that I wanted that it wanted GPT-3 to tackle was summarizing and saying something more concisely. And so someone in Bowling Green, Kentucky had written a statement that was along the lines of like, we need more signs at train stops. And I was like, and I asked, I was like, this could be more shortly, more concisely summarized as, and then GPT said, more crossbuck signs. And I was like, what's a crossbuck sign? And like, if you Google crossbuck sign, that's the name of the sign at the train stop.
Really?
Like, it knew that like it summarized it by finding a more accurate word. It's impressive.
That's really interesting.
It can definitely do that task.
But you're not.
Yeah,
But you're not saying, dear GPT-3, like, you know what I mean? You're not saying like, what is a more concise way? Like, you're sort of like, you're telling it to complete a world where that's true.
And that's really what it's. Yeah, that's right. You are telling it to complete a world where that's true. That's what it pretty much. It knows how to complete the thing.
Interesting.
Give me the next token. Give me the next sentences.
Right. Follow this pattern.
Yeah, it's just pattern matching, and so, but given that it's gotten medical. I had it got multiple medical diagnoses, right? Like if you throw in a bunch of random symptoms, it'll very accurately predict what people. I had like some people who have chronic illnesses that I know that suffer from those. It's like give me a bunch of symptoms. It's like I think this person has, and it was like boom, and it was right twice.
That's wild.
Yeah, yeah, but that's just pattern matching because it's read all the academic papers. So it's like read all the scientific papers and blogs and forums, at patient forums.
I've never really considered like what the corpus of GPT-3 is. It's just
right.
I guess that's the
academic
secret
papers,
sauce.
Forums, Reddit. Like every. So if it has all of Reddit, then it has every like niche patient forum, for instance.
Right.
So everyone suffering from Lyme's disease on Reddit is kind of prompting it with. I'm suffering. I felt these things, and it turned, and I have this, etc. Yeah. Or one could imagine that would be if we looked and if it was auditable in any way, that we would find our way back to that. This is looking pretty cool.
Yeah. So Ian, what do you got rolling?
Yeah.
You got some crazy stuff going?
Well, while you guys were talking about that, I realized it was the star trails or the long exposure that kicked it off.
Yeah.
For me, it was that basically if we rendered a copy of the dots every angle that we moved through, you would get that.
Yeah.
And I lowered the opacity.
Yeah.
Technically, I should probably lower the opacity by a little bit every time instead of having it, all be the same.
Right.
So that'd be fun to try real quick.
You might do the reverse. You might end with the star being like like it just kind of faint and then fades in because that it was a trail. You might get like more of a comet effect like that.
Yeah, so you sort of diminish. I guess you could add a fill rect with like 0.1 opacity or something every drawing.
I guess what I'm talking about is like fade in or fade out is the probably the more concise way to say that.
You want it to go like get stronger and then weaker.
Right. If you increased opacity at every step or decrease opacity at every step, if you start low and increase or start high and decrease, that might pull out the pattern a little bit more. In both cases, you could also change the color. You could make it a rainbow as you go around, and that might also indicate like if you go like blue to red, over 100 degrees.
That's a cool
that might
idea.
actually that might indicate that might help you indicate where you're beginning and where you're ending.
That's really interesting.
Okay, so I want to say, or I think it's interpolate rainbow. Let's start there. And the domain is going to be 0 to angles.length. So that's the number of angles we have. And this will be, oh, we don't need the range. And so we should be able to say CTX color angle.
I chew in my speaker. I chew in my headphone wire while I'm while I'm thinking. And I just became conscious of that. Maybe it's for the first time ever. I've had this since I was in college, and I just realized that like I had the same pair of
live
headphones
stream
since I was in college.
Definitely makes you
The live
aware
stream,
of.
it is the revealer.
Yeah. It's even the first time we did it. Like everybody was giving me shit about my keyboard being loud and stuff. Like. I was like, I'd never thought about that before.
Scale linear, scheme reds. Yeah, nice. That looks great. Yeah, 0 angles up. Nice.
No, it's not. I'm doing something wrong.
Rerun the cell?
Oh no, it auto runs. It's just I don't think
every time you shift run, anytime you shift run anything, everything else runs.
Yeah. Because it's not like Jupyter. It's like the state is based on what was last run. This is like a dependency graph, so it sort of like everything that needs to be updated that flows from that thing will be updated.
So color, so anything that depends on color will.
Yeah.
So it's reactive.
Yeah, that's what makes
exactly.
our slider work. Yeah. Then we just reference like that slider as if it were a value, right?
Yeah. I'm sure I'm coming across like the main value proposition here that I just didn't realize. So.
It's just different.
Yeah, no, it's it can make certain things really nice to do and easy to do, but I'm somehow not getting my color scale going. What did we do?
It's probably. Well, what's color
but
angle?
These were like
return.
pulled out of it.
Yeah, color 0 to.
Sorry, what is
color angle
Yeah, it's not
returns
doing
undefined.
I have a question. Does this thing have left-right mode? Like, you've code on the left and then result on the right, and then you can scroll down and follow the code on the left and follow the result on the right?
It currently does not, but it can.
I'm just looking at the output, like the scale gradient, and then like values array, and then values equals, and then when they're similar, I find my brain has a little bit more difficulty like figuring out which one's which since they're like above each other. Like I have to remember which one is the cell. That's a small point though.
No, I agree.
Yeah, right now you can't really customize.
That's a good example. Like which one of those did I type in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so now it's.
What's interpolate spectral? That's a rainbow?
I think it's like a rainbow. Let's try to put rainbow in there. I think I needed the scale sequential.
Oh, there you go. That's weird.
It's kind it feels like things are moving a lot.
It does feel like it feels like our steps are very large.
Yeah, but it's just doing, yeah, I guess, is that 15 degrees? It doesn't seem like,
What's a radian again? Oh, it's math.pi. All right. Can you
This isn't
can you
seem
increase by
right.
like 0.1 of an angle rather than 1?
Oh, I need to do this though. I forgot. This is probably the problem.
Whoa,
There we go.
that's wild.
That
Okay.
that is revealing.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. Now, especially in the upper right. Now I feel like in the upper right where you're losing, with you're starting right or the lower left with only one dot, and then you're rotating. This makes something clear, right? It makes it clear that you're rotating a rectangle through this space,
Mm-hmm.
right? There are
Yeah, because
circles
it's just our
everywhere.
canvas size.
Exactly. And so, this is something that you don't get in his video, right? Because first of all, his video only has two. This is how many is this? This is 100 or so.
It's just 15, 15 angles, I think. Yeah,
15,
it's like,
so 15 canvases, right?
yeah, or it's one canvas. It's like, yeah, we draw the same times.
Where do you do that? Where do we draw the dots? 'Cause I
Well,
thought, okay,
Yeah,
you
and you
loop
did it all
over
in your
each
weird data
angle.
way, Ian, where everything's in everything.
Well, basically, dots is just a set of, yeah. I mean, so I
Oh,
think
I
the weird
see.
data
Okay.
thing that
Yeah, the dots are
EJ's
the
talking
dots, and the
about.
angles are the angles. It makes sense. Come on.
Well,
Can we move on?
the idea being that the stuff we want to draw, right? Like if we define it as data first, and then how we decide how we want to draw it, we can do stuff like this. Gets easier to do because we're basically saying, okay, I'm gonna draw the dots. I know how to draw the dots, and I'm gonna draw them. You know, every time for each angle, I'm gonna change some stuff, and then I'm gonna draw the dots. Right.
For each angle, yeah. Okay, so dots dot for each. Okay, yeah.
Right. So this set
Angle
of
dot
code.
for each, and then dots dot for each. I see. Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's how I'm drawing. Yeah.
I missed that there was an array of angles.
Yeah. At some point, I change this, and I mean, like if we make it 25, it gets more
Right.
dramatic.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's got a motion blur effect.
I wonder if like.
And GPT-3 is like, he doesn't mean motion blur. He means.
right. Whoa. That's fucking cool.
Okay. Now, this is meta. Can you interpolate through color interpolations?
Mm.
Like you just switched it
Yeah.
up, right? Can you iterate through?
Yeah, I wonder. You basically say like, I have 3 different interpolations. I'm gonna split my angles into 3, and when I'm in the first third, use my first interpolation. Is that basically what you're
Nice.
saying?
Let me think. Let me see. There's two ideas. Yeah, so 2 ideas here. So what? Yeah. Okay. That's interpolate blues, right?
Yeah,
So that's going from lightest blue to darkest blue.
I think so. I'm also messing with the alpha. Let me stop messing with the alpha and see.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's rad. So wait, now I want to move the center. Because like that's the whole
That's
cut
the
of
whole
his
point.
jib, right?
All right. So now we do chart 3. Is that how this works?
It's a great question.
I suppose so. I mean, the other thing.
How much
No,
does you copy over?
that is the question. So one thing is that we could probably just change it here, and allow the translation to be another set of sliders or some other.
No, we're trying to be non-destructive now, Ian. We're trying to make a notebook that has every direction.
Right. We're gonna keep moving forward.
Yeah, and then we'll clean this up into a sexy notebook later.
Right. I would say I just copy this one, or one of these and keep going. So I don't know, which one would you guys rather be seeing? Is it just one at a time? Like this one?
No, the sexy one, Ian. The one that looks really cool.
This one?
Yeah.
We're streaming, Ian.
Oh, sorry.
Ooh. Info we trust says pen plot that.
Put it back to rainbow and use that.
Yeah. How would you pen plot this? I guess you could have the pen plot draw each random point and then translate and then have it pen plot like another color on top of that with the slight translation. Or I bet it would happen naturally if you used the same pen, right? It would be like running out of ink, so you would get the sort of natural fade out version of this just over time. It'd probably take forever though. Like how many, hey Ian, can we find out how many dots we're drawing right now?
Yeah, I would just say angles times dots. 250,000.
All right, so it's just got to draw 250,000 dots. That shouldn't take too long, right?
I mean, yeah, it's a machine. You can just make it.
Have you heard it work? Have you heard how the like Axidraws sound when they're drawing stuff?
No.
It's like so it'll just be a lot. It'll just be like a long period of that.
Nice. All right, so I want to say translate X is a slider and value, I think, just gonna work, and I can give it a description or something. So if I do this, I should be able in here to say
So you're trying to make it so we can slide through time, basically?
not time. I want to do the translate. I think I have to do view of. That's something you
You want to
remember.
slide through iterations, you're saying? No, you want to slide through X.
Yeah, like this is to move the center, but I'm moving all of their centers, which is not the idea.
Your many layers is breaking my mind. That's
Yes,
kind of
I think
the nice benefit of him with the one transparency was that I could sort of wrap my brain around it. But now I've kind of lost like I don't really totally remember what's happened. Like it's basically we're seeing the time lapse of him spinning something, or like the motion blur of what it would look like if he...
That's yeah. There it goes. Woo! There it goes.
That's wild.
Yep.
all right, this is like a lot of dots. Maybe we can just like slow my shit down a little bit. Can we just half it and we'll...
Are you also
So
drawing?
I-
How many? Are you also drawing 15 times that? So 15 times 10,000.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
This is
So
wild.
you could also go to a multiplier that you could play with is also just doing 10 instead of 15. Or did you up it to 25?
Yeah. Oh, it's 25. That's right.
Yeah.
So let's just.
I think that's the multiplier. You're the 10,000 more on the 25.
All right. So.
There we go. There we
And
go.
it still has a pretty visible effect. So we probably want this. Okay, you already
Sorry, I've been fucking
got
with
it,
things.
EJ. Nice, dude. I'm just gonna copy paste this to make a Y. And it should be height. Although, actually, no. the X one should be height to height, and the Y one should be width to width.
What?
Do you see what I'm saying?
No.
Because it moves it up and down, you want to translate by...
Can you show me with
the
a block of
opposite
wood and a
one.
knife what you're talking about?
Right, so this goes, as I go from 0 and I go up, as X goes up, the center goes down, up and down, right?
Right.
Right.
So I want my center, like I don't want it to go, I want to stop it before it goes too far.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's because we're
So
working with
this can only
rectangles.
go as far as, oops, I need to like close this. I can see. Well, I mean, even then it's going too far, but.
Now, can you set it up to just do? Can you set it up to run in a circle? Like, can you set it up to do a box pattern like here, here, or just around like that?
That would be really interesting.
So that would
like,
simply be interpolating the layers such that they automatically run both translate X and translate Y at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of a way to immediately do that, but you're saying basically instead of a slider going between two values, I want to describe an interpolation between several values so that, you know, like X starts here, goes here, or I guess it goes up and then
I
down.
guess it would be. I guess you could do this with maxes and mins. Like, just simply say translate X and Y, translate on both X and Y between these two values positively, and then move negatively, and just go back and forth between two. Just start by going back and forth between 2 points or something.
Is it time? Is it finally time for a ternary slider, Ian? Or we only have two
A what?
things. The ternary slider, the like 3-way slider. I'll drop it in the chat. So you know, I've been
Actually,
looking for an
that
excuse to
idea-
use this forever.
Right.
No, no.
I think that idea is less interesting than trying to get the triangles going. Should we switch to another like
Oh, yeah,
translation?
that's a great point. Is should we? Do you want to put triangles in there? How do you fucking draw a
Oh,
triangle?
like
on
switch to other
canvas?
visualization?
Yeah. How do you? Oh, did he have triangles instead of rectangles?
He did it later in the video.
Yeah.
He switches it out, and it's not random anymore. It's just literally a grid of triangles, and when he overlays those, you get some wild. And he does squares too, just like in just a pure
Okay.
1x1 grid.
I didn't realize that. I actually thought that I thought in that case that if it wasn't a rotation, but it was just like a like a moving it just in the X, for instance, that the random noise would produce interesting shapes, that one of which was a triangle. I missed that he was in fact had a random grid of or a non-random grid of triangles that he was then doing another rotation
Exactly.
on.
No, he changes out over
Yeah,
the course
okay.
of the video. He has like 4 or 5 different base layers and then transparencies that he puts over them. And when he's talking about
Right.
the circles, he's overlaying this random noise and moving it left and right, and you can sort of see the center of the circle move up and down when you move the sheet left and right. I guess another thing that would be
Yeah.
interesting that we're not visualizing that like he sort of had is like almost if you just see the 2 squares of like how they're like a mini map, you know what I mean? Of like how the squares are arranged to one another, because you see the output of it, but you would sort of understand that one is, you know, 10 degrees offset from the other or whatever it is.
Right. Right.
Oh, that didn't work.
Yes, what are you doing over there, Ian? You're in chart 3.
Yeah, so I'm just adding the scale because I realized there was one more thing
Oh yeah.
that,
Whoa.
okay, and obviously I'm not doing it right, but that's pretty cool.
This is weird.
Whoa.
Whoa. That's a really cool looking visual, man.
I like it, yeah.
So-
All right, so this is why we should copy paste. So
Isn't that like similar to the Windows, the old Windows explosion? What am I thinking of?
That
With all the boxes.
Yeah, no, that's like it was a bunch of little boxes coming off the end of Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
Or Windows. But I know it is
Let's
the
see.
same visual language.
Windows. I'm gonna Google image search for Windows squares.
Yeah.
This is not gonna do it. Let's see. Logo. Let's try that. Oh, their new one Yeah. Okay. So that's it. That's it. Yep. Windows 2000 has all the little squares coming off the back of the
yeah.
Windows
And
logo.
Windows NT too.
Huh. Yeah, they dropped it in. They dropped it more recently, and now it's just
That's kind of a cool look.
squares.
I like the old like dithered GIF look of all these old Windows screenshots.
So I will tell you, I think they're missing a big nostalgia trip with the flat thing. I think they really if they go back to the Windows 90 like Windows 95 aesthetic for some of the branding, there's some nostalgia potential there.
It totally. I think I have a 17-year-old brother, and like his whole like he asked me to like make him a NeoCities so that like he could make his own website, and it looks like it's like early 2000s as fashion, you know?
Yeah. Awesome, guys. I'm sorry I have to jump off.
No, thank you so much for joining us.
At the top of the hour.
It's been an hour. It's like we've done a lot of cool stuff. We really appreciate you joining us and taking the time, and hopefully we can do it again soon.
This is great. Yeah, I would love to join again sometime. This is real. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. Have a great night.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.
Be well, everyone.
All right. Thanks, man. See ya.
Awesome. All right, and then it was us.
I don't.
Now what?
Now what?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to get the scale going, and I don't think I quite got what I was supposed to get, but something's happening that's different.
You're like, yeah, I agree. Something is happening that's different. Basically, it seems like you're scaling each layer as you draw it, or you're changing the global scale every time you draw. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm scaling it up a little bit more.
It'd be really cool if you had line numbers that I could refer to. Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, I think that's, it's the probable future.
I'm just
where
trying to
that's,
manifest.
That exists. Yeah. Yeah, basically I'm doing, there's rotating and translating are two transformations that we've used already.
Right.
And then there's scaling. And I made a little scaler. So basically for the angles, right, is like each layer that we're putting on, I'm scaling it a little bit more from 1 to 2. And so, but I don't think that
What if I want to scale it? I want to edit this. I want to fuck with the scaler. I want to range from 0.1 to 1.
Yeah, you could change the range and it should just update the graphic, yeah.
All right, that's not as cool as I thought it would be. It just makes it itty bitty.
So I think I'm supposed to scale first. So let me just put this, because if you think about it, he prints out a scaled copy and then he messes with that.
Yep.
So is not doing what I expected, because it should be giving us spirals basically. So maybe they should all be scaled the same. Does that make sense?
So like
Like past the
rubber
first
ducking
one?
me real quick. So basically, for every angle, you scale, translate, rotate, translate again, and then draw all the dots.
Yeah, scale, translate, rotate, translate again, then draw the dots.
What are all those So we scale and then translate. I don't understand.
So if we ignore the scale for a second, the translate, rotate, translate was basically that we would rotate it around the center. That's all that does. So you don't want to separate those 3 lines. You want those 3 lines to be the same. or like part of one block, kind of.
So it's translate around. So like move to the center. What is translate? What does that do?
Yeah, I mean,
though?
because it moves it around on the
It moves the
thing,
camera,
right? So
the like pen. It moves the pen around, right?
it moves the pen. Yeah, that's how you should think about it. So instead of starting at the top left of the canvas, it's starting to draw from the middle.
Got
And
it.
then it rotates everything, so then it draws it, but then you move it back by how, from the center to the top left. And so everything, it's like you had rotated the paper and then drawn it all. Like you put down a transparency is how you kind of think about it. It's like if every time we're drawing the dots, we're drawing it on a new layer, a new transparency.
Totally.
Which is why I do it with just the two.
But so wait, are my comments
again.
right? Because I understand everything but this last translate. So you move the pen, you rotate, you move it back, and then what's this last translate do?
That was to do what he did in the video, which is his hands moving the sheet. So that's us moving it left and right and up and down.
Okay, so you're moving each dot iteration up and down. By the sliders, right?
Yeah.
Because we have an X and Y slider somewhere. Jesus. Yeah, how come things don't float? I wish I could even edit the CSS. What Colin pointed out is a really interesting and great point, is that if we take this approach of like always keeping everything, then we end up with like controls that we made like 4 canvases ago that control everything. So it's hard to duplicate or bring those down or make them sticky or whatever you'd want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I
Definitely
really
feel
just want
that.
to make them sticky. I just want that GUI, bro. This is what I said the other night. Like, that GUI figured this out. Just stick all the parameters in the top left and we're good.
I'm with you, man. I love that GUI. So we'll see what we can do. So, but yeah, so to scale it, am I not?
Well, it's not.
But then it's everything I'm doing after that is scaled down, and really, I want to scale it, but it should still be centered. It's not.
Isn't there like global matrix or something like that in Canvas?
Yeah, because you kind of want to like rotate it about a point.
Yeah.
In like a specific way.
I guess you're just doing that transform, right? Oh, you can give it a matrix. That's why. I don't want to do that.
I feel like D3 zoom also lets you well, it just gives you X, Y, and a scale as well. So
the problem is that it's rotating from the top left corner, and we want it to be more like in his example when he prints out another one. Where is it? Here we go. Yeah, he prints out one and then puts a slightly scaled down one on top, and you get spirals. We're trying to make spirals.
Yeah.
And you're doing slider stuff? You're grabbing slider? You're scaling...
No, I was seeing
interface
somebody
elements?
has a notebook explaining matrix, like really detailed.
That's pretty sick.
Which-
Drop that in the chat.
Yeah. Because it's geared towards SVG, but you could probably use most of these. But yeah, I don't know how to do the scale in the way that we're thinking. Because when I rotated it about, so if I don't scale it, this rotation, I'm just gonna put the angle to be like 2 degrees.
Can you, sorry, can you scale and rotate the data instead?
Yeah, we could do that.
That sounds, I said that out loud and then it sounded like a curse.
Well, it's just that in the way that we're doing it right now, we're only moving it. We're doing it based on the angle, so it could be data. You know, you could have that in the angle generating function. Actually, you're right. But since we don't know exactly what we're doing, doing it here and seeing immediately, oh, this is working, or this is not working. I think you're right though. Like once we figure that out, it would actually be probably cleaner to do that.
I only said that because I know
but the
that
thing
you
is,
like it. I didn't actually really want to do it. I don't think it sounds kind of because that sounds kind of crazy. So what I was imagining is that you would scale. You would take each x and y and scale it, and then when you draw it again, just move it over by however much, right? Whoa, that's cool. That's really cool.
yeah, I don't think I'm doing this right, but
That seems right.
Ooh, that's encouraging.
That's
I think
super
what I
encouraging.
need is, yeah. So if I shrink it down, move it around, and then blow it back up, I need to get it to be the same size as it was. So it needs to be like the inverse of that. Is that 1 divided by 0.8?
Whoa.
Yeah. Whoa. Okay. I don't really even understand this, but it seems to be the thing that
This
I'm
is
trying
wild.
to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so you sort of see.
Is it making the
We're
spiral?
supposed to see a
or
spiral,
no?
yeah. We're not.
Is it
Concentric.
making the spiral?
It isn't really making the spiral, is it?
No. No. So this is just putting it back to what it.
Well, it's because he scaled it down and rotated it, and you're rotating more than once also.
No, I'm rotating once here.
Oh, we only have one angle. Oh,
Yeah,
I see. You don't.
I
even go
changed
through
this because I was
angles.
trying to, if we see what he sees. So yeah, maybe I didn't actually do anything when I.
I'm gonna go
this.
grab a drink. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay.
That was an interesting experience because I have my wireless headphones on, so I could listen to you the whole time while I was gone. I don't know if we could make use of
Nice. Yeah. You could
Just leave. I shouldn't know.
yeah,
that.
if your mic came with you, I guess.
Well, I'd have to use the head. Yeah, if the mic came with me, that would be. Or I could just go on take a break and spy on you. I'm going Joe Rogan mode since our guest is gone.
Nice. All right, so this is not doing what I think it's. This looks cool.
That's it.
It is not the. That's
That's
the
a thing.
intent. It's moving the center around. So I'm
It's so
basically like I'm
cool.
scaling it. And if we do the opposite, where we scale it down first, oh no, it's the same thing that's happening.
But you're where's the rotation going? Oh, you rotate it first and then translate it?
I don't understand what. Okay, that's kind of funky. I'm trying. Yeah, I kind of like, for whatever reason. Oh wait, this actually seemed to.
That's a spiral, bro. I just
So
saw a
it's just
spiral on your
for
screen,
like
I feel
a
like.
tiny amount.
Yeah.
Like that's a spiral. So what if
Yeah.
it's? Yeah.
Our steps are too big, I feel like.
Yeah. So let me make that 0.01, and the min should be like 0.8. The max is 1. So. Yeah, if it's just a tiny bit,
Whoa, yeah, that's definitely spirally.
but if you like, you can blow it out really easily.
Well, you want to make
So I
the
guess-
make the max like 1.8, right?
I don't know.
Oh,
No, I
oh, we
think it.
ruined each other's lives. Sorry, sorry.
No, you're good.
0.8. We
Well,
broke
the
it.
max should be 1.1.
1. Should just be 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it spirals. Okay, because in the video he did say like you shrink it down just a tiny bit, right?
He said 96%, if I recall correctly.
%96. So that
Yeah,
would
I'm
be
definitely getting
this.
spirals in here, man. It's right here. It's like, yeah, 0.97. You're at 9.6. We like together
Yeah,
zeroed in on the right spot.
I agree. Yeah, so we got spirals. We got crazy. Okay,
Oh
so
yeah, let
then
me pull
this
up my to-do
one,
list real
I
quick.
should be able to fix that one.
We have simple rotation. We translate back and forth. We scaled to 96% and overlaid and got our spiral. And then next we just do triangles, man. And that's our whole to-do list.
And the scale is really just that it's.
Oh, sick.
So,
Look what I found. A shout out to Charlie Sinclairius. Follow them on Twitter. Follow her on Twitter. So in the chat, I dropped an observable of a triangle grid. So maybe that will be helpful in learning to draw triangles. Or grids of them.
that will be very helpful. Sorry, I want to get this scalar thing to do. It should be. Uh, 9. Okay, now we're getting spirals here.
Whoa, yeah, that's real spirals.
So there's that. We have this fun experiment that is left over.
Wait, where are your...
All right,
I don't see the
so-
spirals. Did you make them black and white? Is that what happened?
Wait, where are you? If you go to the blue one?
Chart 5?
Yeah.
Is it because my scale is different than you? I don't see what you see.
Oh, is this based on... Oh, your translate X and Y are different from mine. So maybe we should make new ones for that.
Yeah, can
I
you
guess.
disconnect them? Or just make it look like yours looks, honestly. Like, if you can just hard code your values in, that's fine, right?
Yeah, -10 and -2 or something. I'll have to do the same for both. Does that change it for the better for you?
Yeah. Now I'm seeing spirals. The Colin's idea of using the color interpolation is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have an idea. I'll do some stuff down here.
All right, should I pull up the triangles?
Yeah, if you want to look at like how you might draw a triangle, I'm gonna do some weird color stuff real quick.
Okay.
I want it to pick a random color scale every time it loads.
All right, so this is
Oh, sick! It's got a bunch.
So I want to do the data generation thing for this code. So where are we at? So I'm going to say that this is triangles. And I suppose it is a number of points. Or a number of lines. See how this plays out, but each time we move to line 2, we want a width, height, keep all these things. I don't know what the num was. Num 10. It says num triangles. Height. Just going through, adapting this code. Right. Okay. Right. And instead of moving to, so I'm just going to say lines.push.
So you're modifying her script a little bit, or you're pulling her
Yeah.
triangles in.
What is cell?
What is
Oh,
cell?
cell. Excellent. Oh, it's 0. She's keeping track of that. So is there cell? He is somewhere in here. Oh, she's not using it anymore. So it's just, I just need to declare, and then, yeah, I'm basically turning it into data again, instead of the canvas commands, because then we can, do similar thing, draw multiple grids. X. So that gives us those lines, does some more math here. Then basically want to do this here, but where go to X and I.
This is all crazy math, so I'm not even attempting to understand or interrupt you.
I am for the most part, just copy pasting what's there. And basically what I notice is that there's a bunch of move to and then line to. Mm-hmm. So it moves to some point and then draws to a point. Like, so this is drawing all the triangles.
Those are drawing all the triangles.
Right. So I'm just replacing each of those. I'm going to push to this lines list. And so we're going to end up with this big list of lines.
You're doing your funky pattern, yeah, where you loop over every triangle and then draw it.
Yeah, because I want to. I may, I mean, we didn't really do it with the dots necessarily, but if we were to vary them per dot, like we could also, instead of changing the color spectrum over a bunch of things, we could have all the dots have their own color.
Ooh,
Which
interesting.
might actually make it easier to trace their movement in a way, right?
Or you could, yeah, you could make one. Could you make one out of 1,000 red, and trace one of their
Yeah,
movement?
yeah, that would be interesting too. So that's kind of what I want to be able to do, and so yeah, we could move color into the dots and try that.
Hold on, I'm gonna modify chart 6 and just give that a shot because I'm
Cool.
curious. I'm gonna do if, because you do 4 each. It'll be like if I is 1, then we'll make the fill style red.
Okay, so now I have 193 lines. And that is nice because if I take a canvas like this, or you're editing charts.
Yeah, I'm deleting all my shit. You can go ahead and do whatever you want.
I like this color scale.
I just have it choosing random ones now.
Nice. Yeah, these look awesome. All right, so, okay, chart 6 is fine. Let me just take that. And instead of drawing dots, I'm gonna say triangles dot for each T. And so CTX dot move to T0, dot X, T0 dot Y, line to T1 dot X, T1 dot Y. Chart 7. And, we need to do CTX dot stroke, I guess.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa. Ooh, what have you done?
I don't think it expected width and height to be different.
I think you're right about that. You want to make them 900?
Well, we can make width. You can set height to equal width, or
Oh, I see what you're saying.
so triangles. Yeah. Where do we set height? At the very top somewhere. Yeah. So if I just set it to width, let's see what all of ours changed to. They actually look much more epic this way, but
Yeah, this is a cool. Can you just leave this and make a chart 8? This is pretty sick.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know.
I'm collapsing all of our charts.
Wait, don't.
Don't
Oh,
stop
I
it.
see. Don't collapse my triangles. That's what.
I won't.
It jumped me around.
I'm sorry. All right, collapsing is
We're
over.
good. So let me bring this up here because I feel like.
Chart 8 you're on now? Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna undo this one.
And if I change the number of triangles or more,
Does it not draw them individually? Like, is it just making a grid, basically? Which is kind of different from what we... I guess it is what we want. We want them to be alternating white and black, though.
yeah, but I'm like fundamentally missing something to where this doesn't stroke.
Well, my first clue that something was weird was that you were drawing a triangle by doing one move to and line two, and where I come from, triangles are made from 3 move twos and line twos.
I think this is trying to be fancy and like there should be lines going across the whole thing. So yeah, that's the other thing. Oh no, you found this one. So if we just went the other way, I would think about doing this is basically have the dots, like have them have triangle centers, and then like figure out how to draw a triangle from
Yes,
that. So
agreed. Well,
let me make.
I'm tempted to do a thing that ruins my life every time, which is I make a triangle and SVG and then do the SVG path to canvas thing, but browsers hate that. It makes them really slow.
So yeah, I mean, I think we could just draw, or there's probably an example somewhere we can pull from, either on Blocks or Observable somewhere, that like somebody's made nicely drawn triangles, but we kind of just want to do it the same way as our dots. In fact, we should look at what we did for our, what did we call them? Dots, they're at the bottom here. So we don't need them to be chance. We'll use the same number, but this will be this thing is crazy. I don't know what's going on. So at every point, so we're gonna go in the x direction. We're gonna go I divided by num.
What's the number of triangles?
That's the total number, I guess. We want modulo.
Modulo. Oh boy.
Modulo.
A modulo.
Yeah. And then we want sort of the opposite. So that times. I know. This should just do it, I think. Oh, but that gives us some kind of like index. We want times or divided by. We basically want to spread this out over the width and height, right?
Yes. Turn.
Also, can I change the height back to 500 since?
Do whatever you want, buddy.
Yeah, since it wasn't what was messing up our triangle. And then this one, it's not going to be those. So our triangles now have an index between 0 and num triangles. So that's like the grid. So we want that to be so our spacing is like the width divided by
Yes, the number.
X spacing.
Yes.
Spacing. That's what I was trying to
Don't
think
you
of.
need to know the
That
width of the triangles as well to do this?
We can use the X and Y spacing to figure out how big we want to draw the triangles. Because actually, what I was going to do is just draw little squares first.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And then I think, because for instance, we could also say fill, and then it'd be like I divided by, you know, equals none.
What?
Or no, sorry. I mod 2 means it's even or odd.
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting real.
Jesus.
Um,
Not white. Why are you drawing white things?
right. Sea green.
You love sea green.
I don't know why.
Nice turnery.
So every
We need a
other
turnery
one.
graphic. And sound effect.
Yeah.
There should be like a siren that plays.
So we should be able to draw the like in each of the triangles. CTX.fill rect T dot X T dot Y. And then really they should have like a size or something that we use T dot.
That's what I said before.
Oh, okay. So style equals T dot fill and S. Well, I'll just make it 5 for now. Yeah, so this is drawing us the grid.
Love it. Now, if only those squares were triangles, then we'd have a grid of triangles.
You're right. And
I trust the process.
oh no, this should be. This is way too much. We should be figuring out how many we want in the X and Y direction and using that as the num. So, sorry. Times num triangles. This should be fine. So it should only be 100 things. So if we up num triangles, then we should probably make num triangles. This one was. I just had num as well. It should have been num triangles. I'm just going to define it in here.
Whoa.
Oops.
That just made a bunch of triangles. Holy shit.
Oh.
Except there's a weird little
actually-
gap that I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand. Well, so I fixed, there was apparently a stray num in here somewhere. I don't know how it knew what num was instead of num triangles. And so when I fixed that,
So...
it drew our stuff. I don't know if there's like some other thing I missed.
But wait, so go back to your triangle grid real quick. What's up with this like weird little stripe down the top right?
That
Yeah,
thing? Yeah. I don't know. Like we'd have to debug the algorithm that I copied over. Like maybe I missed something else or I don't know. It's supposed
Is
to
it
be-
just, it might just be an illusion? Because now that I'm looking at it, it looks... Oh no, you really do get some non-triangles. You get some weird parallelograms in there. Always.
Yeah, the bigger I make num triangles,
Oh, that's better, it seems like.
yeah, I don't know. It's like
Look at
Well,
all your
even that-
scrolling up and down and how much we would benefit
I'm being
from.
ridiculous. Yeah. Remove that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really want to fix that though. I want to.
Okay, I don't want to fix it either then. Everything's fine. I don't even see it.
So the one thing we could do is say let x equal or xi is this, the x index. We want let y index equal this part. And then we could say if y I don't know if this is gonna work. It's
Yeah, what
going
are you
crazy.
doing? If I modulo 2 and X modulo 2? What does that even mean?
I was trying to get it so that
Oh, every
every
other is black and
other,
white.
but now it's basically, I need to do it within that. So like, basically, if the Y index is odd, start on C green, and if the Y index is even, do black first, right?
Yes.
So I could go nuts with it here and do.
Listen, I'm with
You
it.
ready for this?
Oh, ternaries on ternaries,
No,
baby.
no, I'm not gonna do that. Can't do it.
Ternaries on modulos on ternaries.
Yeah, let's start color equal
Yeah, all right, let's name some
yi
variables.
odd. Yeah, then it's C green. Otherwise, it's black. And then I guess is that
Yeah,
flip these.
exactly.
Maybe there's like a more elegant way to do this, but
Yeah. Yeah, bro. That's that
okay.
shit right there.
All right. So we have alternating things, and we can make their size actually be
Whoa.
spacing. So we're giving ourselves a little. I think it'd be even trippier if we did X spacing.
Yeah, that's a grid. Look at you making
We
grids.
got ourselves a grid. Yes. Now we want to draw not triangles. We want to draw. I mean, not rectangles. We want to draw triangles, right?
Yeah.
So.
And you have all these triangles. I guess, can you leave this square grid and make it chart 9?
Yes, absolutely. And then I should publish this. We can put in the chat for anyone who.
Yeah, we
joined
sort of
recent.
passed our hour. I guess we can do sort of a quick recap. Basically, we found this video from Numberphile where he basically overlays 2 layers. He has a paper and a transparency with grids and random noise on them, and he sort of rotates and translates them, and you get really interesting effects that sort of look almost like a night sky when you do a time lapse. You know what I mean? And it's just a cool, interesting visual effect. And so we're sort of working our way through the various steps that he took during his video. And he ended up, putting some triangles in and getting some really cool moire effects. And I think at this point, we're trying to put some triangles in because he does a really cool example with triangles. Let me see if I can find that with different spacing. Yeah, there's this one. Actually, he does one with just it would be interesting just to do the grid and offset overlay with black and white, but I don't want to interrupt our flow, our triangle flow.
Yeah, I think. So my idea is that, like you said, I'm gonna move to the point and I'm gonna draw a triangle, and I can do it. If it's gonna just be like a equilateral triangle or whatever, I can just sort of fake it by drawing a certain amount, right? Like
Yeah, you just make it fucking try. You go right, you go up and left, you go down and left.
so I go right. I don't know. I'm gonna just or t.s, I suppose.
Yep.
And I stay at the same y, and then you're saying I go back.
Which line are we drawing? We just drew the bottom line.
Yeah.
And now we're going to draw the line that goes from the bottom right to the top middle.
T.y first. Is it over 2? I'm forgetting my trigonometry right now, so.
That sounds right. I never took trigonometry, so at least you have something to not remember. When I learned it, it made a lot of
drawing stuff with code make a lot more sense. I remember like that's what motivated me. So this is, you know, good time to use it. All right, so back to the starting point. No, I'm getting lost. So I drew
Nope.
out here.
Well, yeah, back to the starting
I
point.
drew up there.
I'm-
Oh, okay. All right, let's see what happens here.
Yeah, boy.
Whoa.
Them be triangles.
But it's
They're rectangular triangles.
right.
They're very wide.
That's one thing. That's one thing. But the other thing is, like, we want the C green one. We want it to create a grid, right? So we want that one to be upside down and like to the left, right? Like we're getting our white. If we had them all be the same
Oh,
colors.
I see. Yeah, the white one. We're making
Although-
white space grids. If you just make them all
What
black,
if
you're
we just
giddy.
always had it be? Yeah. So we like overthought it earlier.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you just
Is
overlay
that
this.
right?
Yeah, bro.
I
Give me
mean-
another. Rotate it. Prep.
All right. So then this is where this would be. Oh, on this. I shouldn't stroke.
Well, what happened to the thing above number triangle? Oh, they all went black.
Oh, right, because they're just squares. We can make this one.
Should I not make their? I should make their T fill. Oh, I see. Yeah, that works.
Yeah. So to draw it again, we just kind of copy this, replace our dots, draw it again.
Ooh. Yeah. I'm saving this one. This one's sick.
Okay. Yeah, I like it too. So maybe I'll make a chart 10 and we'll control, or we could control this one. So this one's being controlled by scale 3 and it's hard-coded angle to 5. So maybe we shouldn't scale it right now. What do you think? Scaling actually did something cool.
Yeah, I kind of like the effect.
All right, that's interesting. We're kind of in this state of like you were talking about using these leftover parameters.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm just
Weird
gonna make
scale
another
parameters.
chart and go 10. All right, so I want to control. Well, let me turn off the scale for a second because I really just want to rotate the angle. Right, like that's what he had. So I need some kind of angle